I'm probably not going to do this often, but I'm going to deviate today because I got to talk about Magic the Gathering, actually. And I think there's some lessons to learn here about comics and the comic book industry because really what you're seeing here in real time is a company making all the mistakes that comic book companies have made and doubling down on them over time, hoping to make a lot of money out of it. But what they're getting is actually the opposite effect in a really extreme way. Absolutely worth talking about because this is collectibles and greed, essentially. So we're going to get into it. Before we do, back to comics, check out the Alternative Comics Fall 2022 pre-orders campaign. Specifically, you can get Downcast issue number 7 here, and you'll be all caught up. The next Downcast is it's going to be the premium prestige edition in the crowdfunding campaign coming this spring. Obviously, Fatal is shipping soon. We've been working with the printer. I actually had to change printers. That's for another story, but it's coming. All right. Toy company slammed for getting greedy with Magic the Gathering. Well, what exactly happened here? There are a few things. And I'm going to break this down a little bit. So I have played Magic the Gathering for several years now. And it's something that I like to do to kind of unwind. It's more of just one of those things that's very casual for me. And yet it's like, if I feel like being competitive, I can be competitive. It's fun, fun way to pass the time, spend some time with my brother, playing that. And, we've gone to a few of those Grand Prix events. And, recently we actually went to the Magic 30 event, which was, man, I could have made a whole video on that. Talk about greed, but it's been encapsulated there. So initially what happened is they print trading cards, you play the game with it, you can buy them. And there's this aftermarket that exists for cards. You can buy singles from a number of companies or individuals on eBay or elsewhere and be able to get the cards that you need in order to build your deck and play a game. And that was all fine and dandy until somewhere along the line, Magic or Wizards of the Coast, the company that makes Magic the Gathering, was sold to Hasbro. And Hasbro realized, my goodness, Magic the Gathering makes up a total third, I hear, of their profits. Their profit margin, even though the sales are only like 15% of revenue, the profit, it's 1/3 of their profit. It's kind of insane. And that's because a lot of the people that are into it are collectors. Again, you see this in comics too. You want to enjoy your hobbies, right? Well, when they realized that, hey, there's this whole secondary market out there that people are spending a lot of money on older packs or older cards, they thought, well, we're going to basically tamp that down by raising the prices of the initial products. Not only that, we're going to take a page out of the comic book industry and make variant cards, just like variant covers. And you've seen that happen in comics to the nth degree. There's so many covers of different comics. It ends up being that they're catering to people that just have a ton of money in order to buy everything. Now, in comics, I'm going to actually say that I don't think it's quite as bad because you can still get the book in an affordable or relatively affordable format. But when it comes to Magic, they will make some cards so ridiculously expensive that it really is impossible to get in unless you're buying tons of packs. And even then, they reprinted these old cards for the Magic 30th anniversary, and they were selling them for $1,000, $1,000 for 4 packs of this stuff. And it's not even tournament legal. You can't even use it because they didn't count as, actual reprints. It's insane. So people have been complaining about this for so long, but Hasbro refused to change anything. Now, this is finally when the other shoe is dropping. People have been complaining about this, saying that this is a good way to get people out. But the truth is, people have actually been selling out of the game. It's not like, yes, you have your speculators and you have that aftermarket of people that are there for sort of the finance aspect of Magic cards. which is a whole world. That's a whole thing in and of itself. But if you can't play it, or if you're disenfranchised to the point that it's no longer fun to play it, you can sell out of these cards and get quite a lot of money back because they retain their value. So many people are selling that prices are taking a hit, but not only that, people are actually refusing. They're voting with their wallets, and they're not buying new set releases because Magic just keeps dumping them out, flooding the shelves. Again, we've seen all of this with the comic book industry. What's the difference? I think that the comic book industry kind of slowly fell into it, and they still saw the same effect of people closing their wallets. It's just that it wasn't so sudden. It was over time. Again, the woke politics all over comic books. The same exact thing is going on with Magic the Gathering. But I mean, if you're not, it's less so. If you're just playing the game, it's all there are is images, and you're not there for the story all the time. At least I'm not. Other people are. Anyway, so in this case, they are reaping what they sow. Here's a quote for you. The primary concern is that Hasbro has been overproducing Magic cards, which has propped up Hasbro's recent results, but is destroying the long-term value of the brand. I'm going to stop you there. That sentence encapsulates the whole problem. Why is it that when people see adults, hobbyists, maybe they're into whatever, comics, trading card games, and they see that they have money, they immediately want to milk them for everything that they're worth? Now, you might be able to actually get, realize that, hey, those fans do actually have money. They're whales out there. But what you're going to do is also offend them. You're going to insult them by trying to take every dime that they have and demanding it. That's not going to fly. And here it is for sure happening. Now, heads have already rolled. The CFO, I mixed, I think it was the CFO. She retired early. That's an interesting coincidence, and she's gone. Hopefully they'll realize and learn some lessons here and change some things. But I kind of wish that comics went this way, that it was so sudden, because they would have to react. Right now in the comic book industry, what are they even? Is it greed anymore at this point, or this is just how they do business at this point? But that's exactly it. Destroying, seeking short-term gains and destroying the value of the brand. The end. Long-term brand doesn't matter because they're only seeking out short-term gains. At the end of the day, you have to have people feel good about buying your product, about your entertainment, in order for them to continue enjoying it. And you're going to get a lot more money out of customers that are happy and continuing to buy product over time. Why? There were reporters saying that Hasbro killed their golden goose. Again, it's a game that has made them a ton of money. And I think it's a great game. It's in my opinion, it's one of the best games ever created. It's a fantastic game, but they've squandered all of that. It's insane. So MTG has traditionally released only 3 new sets of cards per year. More recently, however, the series has been branching out with new regular sets, branded Universes Beyond. They're crossover sets. Does that sound familiar? Just like with comic books, they're essentially gimmicks trying to get people to buy Magic. Maybe you were into Warhammer 40K, or you were into literally anything else, Transformers, and now you want to get into Magic because of that. Well, that might be okay, except that they have machine gunned those out so quickly. They're just releasing so many sets that their core audience of customers just can't keep up. So it's easier just to give up with it because you can't possibly keep up. Crossover sets, secret layers, they're these really overpriced small boxes with just a few cards. I'm talking 4 or 5 cards, literally. And yeah, super overpriced. But that's all you get. So flooding it. Okay, here's a quote here. At the last That's at least 7 products in 7 months. That's right. Their new release season, because they were only doing 3 a year before. I mean, they did a few other kinds of things, but their main set was like that. Now, what they have are 7 in 7 months. It's one per month, one new release per month. That is absolutely insane, and a pace that people can't keep up with. Raising the prices, not only that, but it's just the insane onslaught of it all. Um, Last paragraph here. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the MTG onslaught is likely to abate anytime soon in 2023. 2023 is set to be stacked as well. That's when the Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who cards drop, followed by Final Fantasy VII and Assassin's Creed mini sets in 2024. The McDonald's collaboration can't be far behind. Yikes. So, yeah, this is, again, taking some things from from comic books and how they've made money. I don't think it's any coincidence either, because the first time I saw, maybe you are familiar with the artist Andrew Huerta. He was doing some comic books. I don't know where he went, and I don't know where his comic book went. That again, different discussion. But I know that he did some art for Wizards a few years ago. This was, I think, right before the pandemic that it came out, and that was the first set that they suddenly were saying that they had variant versions of the card art. And I didn't know how I felt about that at first, because I'd seen it in comics. I mean, there was some cool art. Andrew Huerta did one of those, and I thought, yeah, it's pretty cool. He did a cool piece. I think he did 2 or 3 maybe. And they were cool, but what's up with the variants? From then on out, they got comic book artists to draw some of the images for the card art, and then they started adopting all of these comic-esque sales tactics to try and milk money. And I gotta say, it's lowering the quality and in favor of quantity. I don't think that's the way to go when it comes to collectibles. There's a happy balance. It was making so much money as it was. Why do this? Anyway, I don't know if you're into any of this or not. You're here for comics. Don't worry. I'll be back with more comics. But it's hard to ignore this when it's going on. It's getting mainstream news coverage like it is. Pretty insane. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.